estimate population of 258.7 million people by 2016, of which around 85% practice Islam, is the country with the world's largest Muslim population. Indonesia's Islamic financial industry has grown steadily in the past 2 decades. However, Indonesia's Islamic financial market share is still relatively small. The market share of Islamic banks, for example, is only 5.3% of the national banking industry. This condition is far below other countries, such as Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, and United Arab Emirates. To accelerate Islamic financial development, the government of Indonesia launched the Master Plan for Indonesian Islamic Financial Architecture, or Master Plan AXI. The Master Plan contains studies and recommendations to improve the Islamic financial industry in banking, capital market, non-bank financial institution, as well as religious social funds, which cover hedge fund, zakat, and Waqf. Furthermore, the government has established the National Islamic Finance Committee, or KNEKS, through President Regulation Number 91 of 2016. KNEKS is directly led by the President and Vice President, with 10 members consisting of leaders for government and independent regulators cover hedge funds. KNEKS has been entrusted to accelerate, expand, and advance the development of Islamic finance in order to promote national economic development. KNEKS will also play a role in harmonizing the efforts of regulatory institutions, government, and Islamic financial industry to ensure the realization of a synergistic and progressive Islamic financial system. KNEKS, synergizing efforts advancing the nation. Indonesia is the largest country in Southeast Asia with huge potential of Islamic economy and finance. Indonesia, with an estimated population of 258.7 million people by 2016, of which around 85% practice Islam, is the country with the world's largest Muslim population. Indonesia's Islamic financial industry has grown steadily in the past 2 decades. However, Indonesia's Islamic financial market share is still relatively small. The market share of Islamic banks, for example, is only 5.3% of the national banking industry. This condition is far below other countries, such as Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, and United Arab Emirates. To accelerate Islamic financial development, the government of Indonesia launched the Master Plan for Indonesian Islamic Financial Architecture, or Master Plan AXI. The Master Plan contains studies and recommendations to improve the Islamic financial industry in banking, capital market, non-bank financial institution, as well as religious social funds, which cover hedge fund, zakat, and Waqf. Furthermore, the government has established the National Islamic Finance Committee, or KNEKS, through President Regulation Number 91 of 2016. KNEKS is directly led by the President and Vice President, with 10 members consisting of leaders for government and independent regulators. KNEKS has been entrusted to accelerate, expand, and advance the development of Islamic finance in order to promote national economic development. KNEKS will also play a role in harmonizing the efforts of regulatory institutions, government, and Islamic financial industry to ensure the realization of a synergistic and progressive Islamic financial system. KNEKS, synergizing efforts advancing the nation.
His Excellency, Professor Ma'ruf Amin, the Vice President of Republic of Indonesia, as well as the Managing Chairman of the National Committee for Islamic Economy and Finance, Komite Nasional Ekonomi dan Keuangan Syariah, KNEKS. The Honorable Mr. Ventje Rahardjo, Executive Director of KNEKS, Mr. Abdullah Al-Awar, CEO of the IEDC Dubai, all respected speakers and all participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. It is such a pleasure to meet you all. First and foremost, let us praise to Allah, the God Almighty, who gives us blessings so we can attend this very special occasion. Secondly, peace and salutation may be upon the last messenger of Allah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who brought us from the darkness to the lightness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to international webinar, Digitalization Leading the Islamic Economy in the New Normal, co-organized by KNEKS, iPORTAL Live, and Refinitiv. With me, Chitra, will lead this event, inshallah, until 4 p.m. This event is also available on YouTube live stream on KNEKS channel. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 1 p.m. from Jakarta, 2 p.m. from Kuala Lumpur, and 1 a.m. from New York, USA. It is such a special event since we have international speakers from Dubai, USA, Malaysia, Lebanon, Bahrain, and Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our event today, let us listen to Quranic Recitation that will be delivered by Mr. Faris Afif. For Mr. Faris Afif, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa idh qala rabbuka lil malaikati udhi khalifah qalu ataj'alu fiha man yufsidu fiha wa yasfiku dima'a qalu ataj'alu fiha man yufsidu fiha wa yasfiku dima'a wa nahnu nusabbihu bihamdika wa nuqaddisu lak qala inni a'lamu ma la ta'lamun wa 'allama adama al-asma'a kullaha thumma 'aradahum 'ala al-malaikah faqala anbi'uni bi asma'i haula'i Sadaqallahul azim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Faris, for the recitation. Hopefully, this event will run smoothly till the end. Well, ladies and gentlemen, moving on our first agenda, we will have an opening remark from Mr. Ventje Rahardjo, the Executive Director of KNEKS. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ventje Rahardjo.
Thank you, Citra. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. His Excellency Professor Dr. Ma'ruf Amin, the Vice President of the Republic of Indonesia, as well as the Managing Director of the KNEKS, His Excellency Mr. Abdullah Muhammad Al-Awar, CEO of the IDEDC, Dubai, His Excellency Dr. Rusdi Siddiqui, co-founder and also CEO of iPORTAL Live, His Excellency Mr. Mustafa Adil, Head of Islamic Finance, Refinitiv, all distinguished speakers, and all participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let us praise Allah the Almighty for His immeasurable grace and blessing upon us so we can gather virtually in this international webinar with the theme Digitalization Leading the Islamic Economy in the New Normal, organized by KNEKS in collaboration with iPORTAL and Refinitiv. Peace be upon the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the greatest role model of all time for humankind. As we all know, the pandemic of COVID-19 is still the main problem, not only in Indonesia, but all over the world. According to the WHO, there have been more than 68 million cases worldwide, with more than 1.5 million of death cases. COVID-19 has caused many countries to implement lockdown or half lockdown policies, and so has affected the national economy, social, and other various aspects of life. COVID-19 forces people to live differently and adapt to the new normal era. This new habit intervenes in all aspects of life to run independently on digital technology. Digitalization is a driver for the new normal era and an engine to further growth of Islamic economy and finance. Despite the challenges faced by all economies in the world, this pandemic creates an opportunity at the same time, particularly for the Islamic economy. The advancement of digital technology should be optimized for the revival of the Islamic economy and finance, as well as the Halal industry in the national and global level, which always upholds ethical, universal, and sustainable values in its practices. KNEKS is mandated to accelerate, expand, and advance the development of Islamic economy and finance in order to strengthen the national economic resilience. The scope of KNEKS duties includes the development of the halal industry, Islamic financial industry, Islamic social funds, as well as the development and the expansion of the Islamic business activities. On behalf of KNEKS, I would like to express our gratitude as this year Indonesia is ranked the second place on the Islamic Financial Development Report published by Refinitiv and ICD Islamic Development Bank. It is such a great progress where we were still in the 10th rank in the 2018, and in the 4th rank in the 2019. In another report, Indonesia has placed the 4th rank in the State of Global Islamic Economy Indicator Report 2020-2021, published by Dina Standard and its partners. We successfully listed in the top 10 of all sectors in the halal industry, namely halal food, ranked number 4, modest fashion, also number 4, Islamic finance, number 6, halal cosmetic and medicines, number 6, Muslim-friendly tourism, number 6, and media and recreation, number 5. These achievements, of course, would not have been achieved without collaboration, solidarity, and commitment from all stakeholders to promote Islamic economy and finance development. Furthermore, I believe that the digitalization also play a crucial role in this development. Ladies and gentlemen, we realize that our achievement is always identically built on synergy and collaboration with various stakeholders, including the collaboration between KNEKS and iPORTAL in this agenda to support the digitalization of Islamic economy and finance development. KNEKS as a catalyst in advancing the development of Islamic economy and finance attempts to strengthen and expand national and international cooperation for the development of the Islamic economy and halal industry. In closing, I welcome all speakers to share their views and knowledge on this important occasion. I hope all of you have productive dialogue and fruitful discussions in this international webinar. Thank you for your kind attention. May Allah the Almighty bless all our efforts. Amin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, the Honorable Mr. Ventje Rahardjo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we'll hear keynote speech from His Excellency Professor Prof. Amin, the Vice President of the Republic of Indonesia. Unfortunately, he cannot attend this webinar with us due to other important agendas, but with his commitment, he delivered his speech through recorded video. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome His Excellency Professor Prof. Amin.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang saya hormati Direktur Eksekutif Komite Nasional Keuangan dan Ekonomi Syariah KNEKS, CEO di Islamic Corporation for the Development of Private Sector Islamic Development Bank ICD ISDB, co-founder and CEO iPORTAL Live, Head of Islamic Finance Refinitiv, para pembicara dan para hadirin yang berbahagia. Pertama-tama ungkapan puji syukur hendaknya kita panjatkan kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa taala, Tuhan yang Maha Esa. Berkat rahmat dan kurnia-Nya kita dapat berpartisipasi dalam webinar bertajuk Digitalization Leading the Islamic Economy in the New Normal, yang diselenggarakan oleh Komite Nasional Ekonomi dan Keuangan Syariah KNEKS bersama iPORTAL, iPORTAL Live, dan Refinitiv. Sungguh merupakan sebuah kebahagiaan bagi saya bersama saudara-saudara sekalian dapat menghadiri webinar untuk membahas pemanfaatan teknologi digital dalam mendukung kegiatan ekonomi dan keuangan syariah. Digitalisasi akan memiliki dampak yang luas bagi kemajuan dan keberlanjutan ekonomi dan keuangan syariah, baik secara nasional maupun global. Melalui seminar ini, harapan kita bersama tentunya adalah untuk terus menggali, mendorong, dan mengoptimalkan upaya digitalisasi ekonomi dan keuangan syariah dalam menghadapi era baru pasca pandemi COVID-19. Pandemi COVID-19 telah membuat masyarakat beradaptasi melalui gaya hidup yang sangat berbeda. Hal ini tidak dapat dihindari dan bahkan perlu kita pacu inovasi yang memberikan manfaat dan keunikan tersendiri dalam ekosistem ekonomi dan keuangan syariah. Perkembangan teknologi dan digitalisasi tentunya sudah memberikan banyak perubahan dalam gaya hidup bermasyarakat, tidak terkecuali dalam melakukan aspek muamalah. Seperti kita ketahui bahwa sekarang ini telah lahir banyak aplikasi digital dan pertumbuhan startup yang memberikan peluang besar dalam merealisasikan potensi ekonomi syariah secara nasional maupun global. Oleh karena itu, kedua hal itu harus kita daya gunakan agar ekonomi dan keuangan syariah memberikan manfaat yang lebih luas bagi masyarakat. Sebagai contoh, Indonesia telah menerbitkan sukuk retail dan green sukuk yang dapat diperdagangkan dengan mudah secara online. Hal ini sangat menarik untuk para generasi muda untuk turut berinvestasi dalam instrumen keuangan syariah. Selain itu, saham syariah juga dapat dibeli melalui Syariah Online Trading System (SOTS). Pemanfaatan fintech dalam memfasilitasi perkembangan ekonomi dan keuangan syariah digital juga menjadi ciri perkembangan pesat ekonomi dan keuangan syariah di Indonesia. Masyarakat Indonesia saat ini sudah mulai terbiasa bertransaksi secara digital. Namun demikian secara kuantitas, penggunaan transaksi digital baru mencapai hal-hal yang berkaitan dengan kebutuhan sehari-hari. Oleh karena itu, kehadiran fintech dan layanan elektronik lainnya perlu diperluas lagi agar dapat mendorong inklusi keuangan syariah di Indonesia. Pemanfaatan teknologi digital ini mendorong inovasi dan terobosan layanan yang dapat mendukung ekosistem ekonomi syariah secara luas, termasuk industri halal. Teknologi digital telah dimanfaatkan pula oleh komunitas masyarakat seperti pesantren, organisasi masyarakat muslim, serta lembaga-lembaga amil zakat dan Waqf Indonesia terus berkomitmen untuk melakukan pemanfaatan dan penguatan ekonomi digital sebagai salah satu strategi dalam pengembangan ekonomi syariah yang tentunya memerlukan kerjasama dan kolaborasi dengan banyak pihak. Para hadirin yang sekalian yang saya hormati, Indonesia berkomitmen untuk memajukan ekonomi dan keuangan syariah. Untuk itu, pada awal masa pemerintahan Jokowi Ma'ruf Amin, Presiden menerbitkan Peraturan Presiden Nomor 28 Tahun 2020 tentang Komite Nasional Ekonomi dan Keuangan Syariah (KNEKS) yang dipimpin langsung oleh Presiden sendiri dan saya sebagai wakil sekaligus Ketua Harian. Sejak itu, upaya pengembangan ekonomi dan keuangan syariah difokuskan pada 4 hal, yaitu pengembangan industri produk halal, pengembangan industri keuangan syariah, pengembangan dana sosial syariah, dan pengembangan dan perluasan kegiatan usaha syariah. Terkait dengan fokus pertama, Indonesia sebagai negara berpenduduk muslim terbesar merupakan pasar yang sangat menentukan dalam perdagangan produk halal dunia. Pada tahun 2018, Indonesia membelanjakan 214 miliar US dollar untuk 10% dari pangsa produk halal dunia dan merupakan konsumen terbesar dibandingkan dengan negara-negara mayoritas muslim lainnya. Salah satu langkah strategis dalam mengembangkan industri produk halal adalah melalui pembentukan kawasan-kawasan industri halal maupun zona-zona halal dalam kawasan industri yang sudah ada, sehingga kapasitas produksi produk halal Indonesia bisa meningkat secara signifikan dan terintegrasi, semakin berkualitas serta berdaya saing global. Selain itu, kawasan industri halal KIH yang tumbuh dan berkembang diharapkan akan menarik perhatian investor global untuk menjadikan Indonesia sebagai global hub produk halal dunia. Sudah ada 2 kawasan yang ditetapkan sebagai kawasan industri halal oleh Kementerian Perindustrian, yaitu Modern Cikande Industrial Estate di Serang, Banten, dan Safe and Lock Halal Industry Park di Kabupaten Sidoarjo, Jawa Timur. Insya Allah akan ada lagi 6 kawasan industri halal yang akan menyusul. Terkait dengan fokus kedua dalam rangka memperkuat kelembagaan keuangan syariah di dalam negeri dan dalam rangka meningkatkan partisipasi Indonesia dalam perekonomian syariah global, pemerintah telah menggabungkan 3 bank syariah yang dimiliki oleh Himbara, yaitu Bank Syariah Mandiri, BRI Syariah, dan BNI Syariah, dan akan beroperasi penuh pada Februari 2021. Terkait dengan fokus ketiga, pengembangan ekonomi dan keuangan syariah, dilakukan melalui penguatan dan perluasan dana sosial syariah yang mencakup zakat, infak, sedekah, dan wakaf, siswaf. Khusus mengenai wakaf, saya akan merancang gerakan nasional wakaf tunai atau GNWT untuk memperluas partisipasi seluruh masyarakat. Melalui gerakan ini, saya yakin akan terkumpul dana yang besar untuk mendukung pembangunan nasional serta meningkatkan kesejahteraan masyarakat. Para hadirin sekalian yang saya hormati, saya bersyukur berbagai kemajuan besar seperti yang saya uraikan di atas mendapatkan penghargaan dari the Islamic Corporation for the Development of Private Sector, Islamic Development Bank atau ISDB, dan Refinitiv, penyedia data pasar keuangan terbesar di dunia, telah menempatkan Indonesia sebagai negara ranking kedua dunia dalam pencapaian perkembangan industri keuangan Islam, sebagaimana dilaporkan dalam Islamic Finance Development Indicator IFDI edisi ke-8 tahun 2020. Dalam kesempatan ini saya menyampaikan ucapan terima kasih dan apresiasi sebesar-besarnya kepada ICD, ISDB, dan Refinitiv atas kepercayaan yang diberikan kepada Indonesia. Mengakhiri tahun 2020 ini saya ingin menyampaikan rasa syukur. Selain dipercaya menduduki ranking kedua dalam laporan IFDI, Indonesia juga telah meraih peringkat keempat dalam laporan State of the Global Islamic Economy Indicator 2020-2021 yang diterbitkan oleh Dinar Standard. Di samping itu, secara khusus KNEKS pada tahun ini juga mendapat GIFA Advocacy Award pada acara GIFA seremoni ke-10 yang diadakan di Islamabad, Pakistan. Semua prestasi internasional tersebut telah memotivasi Indonesia untuk berbuat lebih banyak dalam mendorong dan merealisasikan peranan ekonomi dan keuangan syariah baik di tingkat nasional maupun global. Para hadirin yang saya hormati, saya percaya bahwa berbagai prestasi atas perkembangan ekonomi dan keuangan syariah tadi tidak mungkin tercapai tanpa upaya pengembangan ekonomi dan keuangan syariah di daerah. Manajemen eksekutif KNEKS telah menyusun laporan perkembangan ekonomi dan keuangan syariah daerah guna memetakan berbagai potensi di daerah. Pemetaan ini akan digunakan dalam menyusun langkah bersama demi perkembangan ekonomi dan keuangan syariah yang lebih maju lagi. Sebelum mengakhiri sambutan ini, saya sebagai Ketua Harian Komite Nasional Ekonomi dan Keuangan Syariah dan secara pribadi menyampaikan terima kasih dan penghargaan kepada iPORTAL Live dan Refinitiv yang telah memprakarsai penyelenggaraan acara webinar internasional ini. Saya juga mengucapkan selamat kepada hadirin sekalian yang mengikuti webinar ini dan berharap webinar ini menghasilkan berbagai rekomendasi yang dapat berkontribusi dalam pengembangan ekonomi dan keuangan syariah yang bertujuan memberikan kebermanfaatan terhadap masyarakat Indonesia maupun global. Sekian dan terima kasih. Semoga Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala meridai semua upaya yang kita lakukan. Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thariq. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, His Excellency, Professor Prof. Amin, the Vice President of the Republic of Indonesia, for such an insightful speech. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have an honorable special guest speaker today to also open this event. We would like to hear a speech from Mr. Abdullah Al-Awar, CEO of the IEDC Dubai. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Abdullah Al-Awar.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Excellencies and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be here with you today. At the outset, of course, I wanted to thank His Excellency Professor Dr. Ma'ruf Amin for his inspiring welcome remarks. I wanted to extend my thanks as well to His Excellency Ventje, Rahardjo, the Executive Director of the KNEKS, and His Excellency Rushdi Siddiqui, the founder of iPORTAL Live, for organizing this event and inviting me to share a few of my thoughts with you all today. Of course, it's been quite an eventful year, I would say, and we have all gone through exceptional times in 2020. However, it's I think, in my opinion, very important to speak on a topic which is basically the topic of the event today, and also one can argue that it's been the silver lining of the coronavirus pandemic, while serving as a tool to enable us to seamlessly interact with each other throughout this exceptional times. And that topic is digitalization. And I think we all can agree that this pandemic has not only been a health crisis, but it had spanned across and had an impact on economies and societies. And I don't believe any country, was exempt, from this. Shifts of this magnitude with an industry tend to spill over the lives and livelihoods of people everywhere, as COVID-19 has shown us, and also the fourth industrial revolution will continue to reveal. Speaking about the fourth industrial revolution, I think experts have repeatedly asserted over the year that the coronavirus pandemic has accelerated technological advancements, and also adoption of certain technological advancements. It's quite interesting if you note that if we were not, I understand, of course, the challenges with the pandemic, but if we have not been pushed, and I believe this pandemic has actually did this, which is to push us to embrace these technological advancements. For example, today, we're having this amazing global webinar in its true sense, through virtual means, all of us sitting in their offices or even at home, participating and actively sharing, this dialogue. To be very honest with you, I do not think if the pandemic did not happen, and if we were kind of introduced towards this as an alternative, I do not think we would have adopted this technology if it wasn't for an event like the pandemic pushing us to do it. And now it seems this has become the norm, Zoom calls and alternative virtual meetings taking place every day as a normal course of business and life. Retail, I think, is another example of this paradigm shift in the prevailing environment. A company called eMarketer, which is a leading trusted US-based market research company, issued its Global E-commerce 2020 report in June of this year, pointing out that although internet users turned to e-commerce in unprecedented numbers to acquire basic goods, e-commerce momentum was likely to remain uneven throughout the 2020. The report highlighted that with a growth rate of 16.5% in 2020, global e-commerce sales have decelerated, plummeting from a growth rate of 20.2% in 2019. Before COVID-19, the firm had forecasted that global retail would expand by 4.4% to 26.46 trillion US dollars in 2020. However, for e-commerce, those figures reflected 18% growth and 4.1 trillion US dollars in sales. Subsequently, the same firm decreased their forecast by over 10 percentage points for the e-commerce forecast. And for the e-commerce forecast, decreased it by 2 percentage points, equaling a reduced overall outlook for the e-commerce sales valued at 190 billion US dollars instead. So you can see how the dynamics have shifted. Interestingly, Asia Pacific and North America lead regional estimates for both retail and e-commerce sales. China's dominance means that 62% of all e-commerce sales will take place in Asia Pacific region, while North America, Western Europe trail far behind at 19.1% and 12.7% respectively, according to the report. I mean, surely these shifts that I've mentioned and many others that we hear about call for innovation. They call for creative approaches to address the requirements of supply chain with a changing landscape of customer demand. This is why we at the Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center always believe in innovation, and most of our initiatives actually promote and embed innovation. I also believe at the same time that the Islamic economy sectors are well suited to embrace innovation. This is something that was noted in the State of the Global Islamic Economy report that we are glad to support over the years, and which is published by Dinar Standard. And that also shows that post-COVID-19, some of the Islamic economy sectors are well situated to help push the recovery path for societies and economies across the globe. And of course, innovation will play a key role in that. It's also worth noting, and I recall His Excellency Ma'ruf Amin's remarks earlier, that Indonesia has played an important role in shaping the Islamic economy. Recently, climbing up the rankings in indexes such as the Global Islamic Economy Indicator, which is part of the State of the Global Islamic Economy report. So it makes absolute sense that we have, signed, and we're grateful for this. We have signed a memorandum of collaboration and understanding with the KNEKS last year, which we are always excited about, and working together with the teams at the KNEKS regularly to identify the opportunities where we can work together. I think both Dubai or the UAE and Indonesia are important players in the Islamic economy landscape, but more importantly, I believe the foundations that are there within the economies, the two economies, lend themselves towards enhancing global trade for the Islamic economy. Your Excellencies and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to take a lot of your time, but I did want to share those thoughts with you. I am personally excited about the agenda of the event today, and I believe the panel, specifically country, contributions for the Islamic economy development, and the esteemed panelists following today's opening remarks will have, I'm sure, interesting observations to make. So very excited to be here with you today. And again, I wanted to reiterate my thanks to the KNEKS and iPORTAL Live for inviting us to take part in today's event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdullah Alawar, for the opening speech. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed to our main agenda, which is panel sessions, we will witness virtual MOU signing ceremony and virtual launching of 2 reports. First of all, we will see the virtual MOU signing ceremony between KNEKS and iPORTAL Live SDN BHD. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we can see this is the MOU between KNEKS and iPORTAL. Let me explain a little bit about the scope of this cooperation. So this cooperation of KNEKS and iPORTAL encompasses some fields such as both parties will facilitate regular, frequent, and meaningful exchange of information on relevant activities in the field of Islamic economy and finance. Moreover, KNEKS and iPORTAL aim to enhance outreach for building awareness through the joint organization and hosting of public forums on areas of Islamic economy and finance. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us see the profile from iPORTAL. Wow, what a wonderful video profile of iPORTAL. Maybe, ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested to know more iPORTAL, you can go directly to its website. Well, ladies and gentlemen, next we are about to see the virtual launching of Islamic Finance Development Indicator, or IFDI 2020 ceremony by KNEKS and Refinitiv. So let me inform you a little bit about Refinitiv. That Refinitiv is actually the world's largest provider of financial markets data and infrastructure, headquartered in Bahrain. This IFDI report 2020 is the 8th edition. Well, all honorable audience, let us see the video profile of IFD from Refinitiv.
ICD and Refinitiv are pleased to launch their 8th consecutive Islamic Finance Development Indicator Report, titled Progressing Through Adversity. The Islamic Finance Development Indicator is the definitive barometer of the state of the Islamic finance industry, with rankings provided for 135 countries around the world. The Islamic finance industry continued expanding its global footprint and registered a double-digit growth of 14% in 2019, taking the industry's total global assets to $2.88 trillion. The growth was primarily driven by growth and transformation in Islamic banking, unprecedented growth in Sukuk, and continued regulatory support. The report opens with an overview of the key asset classes in Islamic finance. Islamic banking is the biggest asset class in Islamic finance industry and has been growing by 5% on average since 2012. Islamic banking total assets has reached close to $2 trillion in 2019, growing by 14% from 2018, and has a market share of 6% in global banking assets. The industry has a total of 526 Islamic banks and windows. The second largest asset class is Sukuk, a market that has been witnessing a tremendous growth since 2012. Sukuk outstanding maintained its solid performance in 2019 to reach $538 billion, recording nearly 13% growth. A total of 3,420 Sukuk were outstanding by the end of 2019. Other sectors covered by the IFDI include takaful, funds, and other Islamic financial institutions. Takaful total assets reached $51 billion by the end of 2019, registering 10% growth in assets. Other Islamic financial institutions' total size reached $153 billion and has grown by 6% in 2019. And Islamic funds market has reached $140 billion, registering the highest growth in 2019 compared to the last 10 years of 30%. Measurement of the development of the Islamic finance industry goes beyond just measuring core business components such as financial performance. Governance provides an important indicator of the health of the Islamic finance industry's infrastructure. By the end of 2019, 1,170 Sharia scholars have been serving the industry, and 14 countries have central Sharia boards. There were also 45 female Sharia scholars representing Sharia boards. Islamic knowledge evaluates the skills and education required to enhance and grow the industry and is measured through education and research papers. By the end of 2019, 972 education providers and 379 degree providers have continued to develop Islamic finance professionals to support the industry with much needed talent. The IFDI also measures CSR, corporate social responsibility performance, through disclosed CSR activities and CSR funds disbursed, and awareness, which is measured by assessing 3 components: conferences, seminars, and news volume. Islamic financial institutions disbursed $1.16 billion in CSR, out of which $1.03 billion were in zakat and charity, and $129 million in Qard al-Hasan. Islamic finance had 463 events in total in 2019, which consisted of 143 conferences and 320 seminars. So far in 2020, the market has continued its transformation journey and have witnessed key development in areas such as digital solutions, governments turning to Islamic finance for diversification and economic support, and fostering the development of ESG and sustainability.
At ICD, we are proud to continue our partnership with Refinitiv in producing the Islamic Financial Development Report. The report provides an independent, analytical, and empirical grounded discussion of major development in Islamic financial and surrounding ecosystem. Since the indicator introduction in 2013, it has played a key role in serving policymakers and market practitioners around the world who require reliable and comparable information to better understand and analyze the opportunities and challenges in the Islamic financial space. The indicator also designed to assess how well the industry has been in its religious, economic, legal, and ethical values. We believe that the analysis and information provided in this year's report will serve as a vital reference point for the state of Islamic financial industry during these difficult times, and we remain convinced that the Islamic financials can play a major role in alleviating the social and economic consequences of COVID-19 pandemic. The development of Islamic financial is a key objective to ICD. And in this respect, we are happy that we have rolled out several key initiatives, including a US $250 million emergency fund to support the member countries against COVID-19 pandemic, which is part of the 2.2 billion ISDB emergency fund for COVID-19. Number two is launching ICD Global Council platform called The Bridge to be the future cloud-based next generation, full-featured networking and fulfillment platform for the benefit of our network of 119 financial institutions worldwide. Third, launching the ICD Finnovative Award 2020 to recognize and showcase and encourage financial institutions that provide an outstanding solution for the financial industry. Fourth, under the slogan of the financial inclusion as one of the objectives of the Group of 20, G20, ICD developed the Smart Financial Transactions platform with an objective of raising awareness among its women and youth regarding the importance of financial education and motivating the targeted group to practice healthy financial habits. 5 is announcing the successful completion of our pricing of a 5-year, 600 million Sukuk issuance that was 3 times oversubscribed. We hope that you will benefit from this year's Islamic Financial Development Report, and I wish you all the success.
The past few years have been exceptional for the Islamic finance industry. In 2019, we saw the industry grow by 14% year on year, the highest growth that has been achieved since the global financial crisis, and total assets hit nearly $2.9 trillion. And what was particularly heartening is that this growth is not being primarily driven by Islamic banking, but we see other segments contributing, including Sukuk, which grew by 15% year on year, and Islamic funds, which grew by a whopping 30%. What is even more encouraging is that in 2020, when governments and corporates are dealing with the impact of the COVID-19 crisis, we see more and more entities turning to Islamic finance, particularly to Sukuk as an instrument to help meet their fiscal and funding needs. We expect Sukuk this year to hit, if not exceed, the record that was set last year in terms of new Sukuk issuances. And we expect with that for the first time, the Islamic finance industry will break the $3 trillion mark in terms of total assets at some point in 2020. We hope that you will find this report and the insights and analysis inside it useful, and we hope that it will help you to continue to guide your institution's strategy within the Islamic finance space.
For the last 8 years, our indicator has been providing insights and deep market knowledge to help financial institutions and policymakers to drive performance, innovation, and take big ideas to big results. This year's indicator analyzes the performance of 1,500 financial institutions globally in 135 countries, as well as looking and analyzing the performance of the ecosystem of the industry such as regulation, CSR, and knowledge and awareness. In the past few years, Islamic finance industries has been one of the fastest growing industries globally. One of the notable trends that we have seen last year was the growth in Islamic funds, an industry that grew by 30%, which is the highest historically. And we expect the performance to continue next year as investing in Sukuk and ESG continue to drive the market. Another trend that we have been witnessing over the years is the increase in number of women Sharia scholars globally, a trend that has started initially in Southeast Asia and continues to spread across the world. The pandemic has also been a game changer for a lot of Islamic financial institutions who started offering their products and services through a digital channel. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoy the report. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was a great profile of IFD and Refinitiv. We acknowledge that the Islamic finance market has becoming increasingly popular worldwide and projected to keep growing for next decades. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, we are about to see the virtual launching of Islamic Economic Development Provincial Report published by KNEKS. This report portrays the landscape of Islamic economic development at the provincial level across Indonesia. Well, without further ado, let us see the video of virtual launching of Islamic Economic Development Provincial Report published by KNEKS.
Indonesia, an archipelago country with 17,500 islands, 1,300 ethnic groups, and 1,001 different languages, has the world's largest Muslim population, which is around 230 million. Nearly 13% of all Muslims in the world today live in Indonesia. With this fact, Indonesia has an enormous potential to become the global hub of Islamic economy. One of the approaches to accelerate the development of Indonesian Islamic economy is by strengthening the inclusivity of Islamic economy at both the national and regional level in the country. National Committee of Islamic Economy and Finance Republic of Indonesia has the initiative to launch Regional Islamic Economy and Development Report in Indonesia and also Regional Muslim-Friendly Tourism Report in Indonesia 2019 and 2020. Regional Muslim-Friendly Tourism Report in Indonesia consists of 10 provinces that are promising in Muslim-friendly tourism development, whereas the Regional Islamic Economy and Development Report in Indonesia consists of 12 provinces that have shown an effort in developing Islamic economy and finance.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen the virtual launching of the Islamic Economic Development Provincial Report by KNEKS. Hopefully, this report will inspire all provinces in Indonesia to further participate in developing Islamic economy in accordance to strengthen the national economy. Well, all the honorable audience, we arrive in a session that we have been waiting for, the panel session. So we're going to move to the panel session 1. This session we will be discussing about country contributions for Islamic economic development from 3 different countries. And it will be moderated by Mr. Mustafa Adil, the head of Islamic finance from Refinitiv. Mr. Mustafa Adil, are you there?
I'm here. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you very much.
Okay.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are dialing in from. And thank you very much for being with us for the first session of this very, very important webinar focused on digitalization, leading the Islamic economy into the new normal, organized by KNEKS and iPORTAL. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the first session, which I think is a very, very important session where we will hear from some of the leading Islamic economy markets on their experiences and their initiatives and their contributions to the Islamic economy. And before I introduce my fellow speakers, I just want to provide a brief context around the discussion. The impact of digitalization has been felt around the world in every single sector and in every single market. Whereas most institutions and most sectors of the traditional economy have struggled to cope with the impact and even the disruption that digitization brings, the Islamic economy is very different. You know, having younger institutions with young people managing them, with newer legacy systems, not weighed down by traditional corporate cultures or traditional legacy systems, they have been able to adapt much more efficiently. And we have seen the Islamic economy sectors, even prior to the current crisis, adopting digital solutions, digital channels, digital means to be able to break down traditional silos, to be able to access new markets, and to be able to create a global footprint for themselves. And this is a very, very encouraging and heartening initiative. We see this across multiple sectors, whether it is the food sector, whether it is Islamic finance, whether it is tourism, or it's modest fashion. And this is something very encouraging. Now, what has happened in the last few years, in the last year actually, with the impact of COVID is that it has significantly accelerated the digitization strategy. You know, targets and initiatives that were meant to be implemented over 3 or 4 years have been forced to be implemented in 1 year. Now, this has been extremely challenging, but also presented a great opportunity because the younger, more agile Islamic economy participants were able to adapt to the challenge and were able to respond in an agile manner. They were able to capture new opportunities, and that has been reflected by some of the very, very prestigious reports that have been launched today, including the State of Global Islamic Economy report, the Islamic Finance Development Indicator, which all highlight to digitization as being a key driver for the growth of the Islamic economy. And we see today with the virtual launch of iPORTAL as another great pillar that is going to help, inshallah, drive this economy going forward. Now, I can talk a lot about this, but I don't want to take away from the speakers. We have a very short time for this panel, and we have 4 very illustrious speakers who are going to talk about this, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce them. From Indonesia, we have Dr. Sultan Emir Hidayat, who is the Director of Islamic Supporting Ecosystems at KNEKS, the National Islamic Economy and Finance Committee, looking after the rollout of the development of Islamic economy in Indonesia. From the UAE, we have Ms. Wadha Al-Ghalfi, the Director of Strategy and Planning at DIDC, the Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center. From Malaysia, we have Mr. Ahmed Fauzi from Signatory Ventures, and we have Dr. Rushdi Siddiqui, the co-founder and CEO of iPORTAL Live. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us on this panel. So without further ado, Sultan, I think I'm going to start straight away with you. And, the session is focused around the country contributions. And what we really want to hear, Indonesia being one of the largest Islamic economy sectors, being one of the fastest developing sectors, as demonstrated by your increased ranking in various numerous Islamic economy indicators. Can you shed some light on some of the initiatives and some of the contributions that Indonesia has made to the global Islamic economy? Whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mustafa. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Excellency Professor Ma'ruf Amin, the Vice President of the Republic of Indonesia, the Honorable Mr. Ventje Rahardjo, Executive Director of KNEKS, Mr. Abdullah Al-Awar, CEO of the IDC, and other distinguished speakers. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. When we discuss about our theme today, digitalization, we do realize that digital technology plays important role for connecting the dots. In the context of Indonesia, digital innovation is also optimized and strengthened to enhance the development of Islamic economy and finance, at least in 3 ways. Firstly, digital innovation is used to link halal industry with Islamic finance. Secondly, digital innovation is used to increase Islamic financial inclusion. And thirdly, digital innovation is used to integrate Islamic social funds with Islamic commercial funds or finance. Honorable audience, as I have mentioned earlier, in order to enhance the growth of Islamic economy and finance, digital innovation needs to be optimized, especially by integrating halal industry and Islamic financial industry. At least there are 8 strategic initiatives led by KNEKS to realize this integration, which are supporting the Islamic business and enterprises to access the digital services, for example, fintech and e-commerce. Second, developing the synergy between halal industry and the Islamic financial services. Third, enhancing the implementation of QR Indonesia standard, QRIS, in all subsectors of halal industry in order to increase the digital inclusion. Fourth, strengthening the cooperation between Islamic banks and fintech to support the SMEs, micro, small, and medium enterprises, and communities. Fifth, strengthening the community-based traditional market through digitalization. Sixth, optimizing zakat, infak, sadaqah, and waqf, and other Islamic social funds collection and distribution through digital transformation. 7, enhancing and strengthening the international cooperation to develop the halal industry, like we are doing today. 8, enhancing the halal traceability and tracking system in order to improve the competitive advantage of the halal products. For point number 8 above, specifically enhancing the halal traceability and tracking system in order to improve the competitive advantage of the halal products, the use of blockchain technology is crucial, where the producers, suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, logistic agents and channels, resellers and marketplace, and particularly the customers and halal certification body will access and track the product process and supply chain transparently. The chain also includes financing from the Islamic financial institutions so that the financiers could track the process and be able to proceed the financing in faster and more effective ways. This blockchain technology has many advantages for every stakeholder in the chain. Among them, for the authorities, this technology will give the efficient process, audit and inspection, improving the integrity of halal critical control points, and helping them in minimizing the fraud. For suppliers and manufacturers, this innovation helps the product's branding and improve the competitive advantages of the products. The transparency of information provided by the blockchain technology is the key to halal integrity. It helps for efficient data saving and processing management. Accordingly, it will lead to the effective risk and reputation management. For the logistic agents, the technology gives the value-added services as it provides the integrated halal assurance information. This innovation also helps to effectively save and process the data. For the sellers and distributors, this innovation helps to improve the price control as well as the standard and reputation of the sellers and distributors. For customers, this technology will improve the customer's confidence to buy the halal product. For financial institutions, the technology helps them in credit scoring, provides faster payment process, improve the KYC process, and minimize the operational risk. Distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, in order to support the implementation of the Islamic Economic Master Plan, or MEXI, carried out by the National Committee for Islamic Economy and Finance, KNEKS, as well as one of the strategic steps in realizing the government's plan to make Indonesia as the world's leading Islamic economic center by 2024, in April 2020, Link Aja, a state-owned company, officially launched layanan Syariah Link Aja as the first Islamic digital payment in Indonesia that facilitates various types of payments according to Islamic rules or Sharia. On 14 April 2020, Link Aja Syariah or layanan Syariah Link Aja received a Sharia compliance certificate from National Sharia Board of Majlis Ulama Indonesia, DSN MUI. The certificate was published after the issuance of Fatwa number 116/DSN MUI/9/2017 concerning Islamic electronic money, as well as license for developing electronic money product server based from Bank Indonesia. Link Aja Syariah comes with 3 distinguished features, which are the floating funds are deposited only in Islamic banks. Number 2, the discount in transactions made by customers must be given by the merchant, not by the provider or not by Link Aja as the payment system fintech. Number 3, the products and financial products offered in the application come from partners who use and comply with Sharia contracts. Distinguished speakers and participants, in Indonesia, the digital innovation is also employed to improve the collection and distribution of Islamic social funds, particularly zakah and waqf, and then integrate them with Islamic commercial finance. Currently, zakah has been collected and transferred digitally from the payers of zakah or muzakki to zakah institution, and KNEKS initiate a strategic program named Area-Based Zakah Management Program. This program will run effectively through the cooperation with the local authorities, Islamic financial institution, and the digital platform providers. Digitalization also helps in improving the collection of cash waqf. Many Islamic banks in Indonesia have been certified as the institution that are eligible to receive cash waqf, or known in Indonesia as Lembaga Keuangan Syariah Penerima Wakaf Tunai, LKSPWU. Among those institutions are BNI Syariah, Bank Muamalah Indonesia, BTN Syariah, and CIMB Niaga Syariah. And as it has been mentioned by His Excellency the Vice President, we are going to launch soon the national movement for cash waqf. Inshallah, with all the above explanation, we hope Islamic economy and finance will flourish in Indonesia in the near future, and Indonesia will inshallah achieve its dream to become the global hub for Islamic economy and finance. Thank you very much, and I'll give you back Mustafa.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sultan. Very, very interesting presentation, and it's very heartening to see how technology and innovation is playing a key role in the strategy that KNKS is adopting, and particularly addressing traditional challenges like halal traceability, like financial inclusion, mobilization of social funds through new innovative and technological channels. A lot of questions that I have from my side, but I think we will save that to the end. With that, I would like to welcome Ms. Wadha to talk about the experience of DIDC and the UAE in terms of promoting the Islamic economy. Obviously, you know, DIDC has played a key role in representing the vision of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, the Vice President and Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, in turning Dubai and the UAE into a global capital for the Islamic economy. And we would love to hear some of the initiatives that DIDC is rolling out to achieve that strategy. Ms. Wadha, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mustafa. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, distinguished guests. I'm honored to be with you today. I will give you a brief about the center and the strategy of Dubai to be the capital of Islamic economy. And I will talk about some projects and initiatives and how we thrive during the pandemic and change the nature of our projects.
Wadha, you're on mute, I think. And I think if the presenter can shift to the next slide.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Can I control the presentation, Mustafa?
I think the organizers are sharing their screen. If you just let them know when to move to the next slide, they will do so.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm honored today to be with you. I'm going to represent the strategy of Dubai to be the capital of Islamic economy and how we thrive during the pandemic and the change the nature of some projects. So as you know, the ecosystem of Islamic economy is the harmonization between the Islamic values and ethics with innovation and combine a real commitment with actual development objectives in order to meet the aspiration of humanity at large, regardless of the circumstances. Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center has established in 2013 under the supervision of the ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and the Crown Prince, Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, in order to work together as the center and the stakeholders in Dubai government and the private sector to create and facilitate the Islamic economy ecosystem and positioning Dubai to be the capital of Islamic economy. So we are mainly working as a vision management center in order to achieve this vision. Next, please. Next, please. I'm going to talk about the objectives. So as I mentioned, the vision of the center is to position Dubai as the capital of Islamic economy that sets and our objectives and key roles of the DIDC. We are working to develop the infrastructure to implement Dubai as a capital of Islamic economy, establishing the necessary legislative and regulatory framework to drive the Dubai to be the capital of Islamic economy, ensure effective coordination and alignment between stakeholders to achieve this vision, provide the means and solution to support and promote Dubai as the capital of Islamic economy, creating an enabling environment for all concerned entities to join forces to implement the vision, raise awareness about the economic activities that we are supporting, and work with the public and private sector in the UAE and beyond to drive the growth across the 7 Islamic economy pillars. Next. And in our board of directors, we are making sure that all the decision making from the economic departments in Dubai are in one table in order to support the vision achievements. And this is our strategy map, which is mainly containing the 3 pillars, which is Islamic finance, halal industry, and Islamic lifestyle. And we have also 3 enabling pillars, which is Islamic knowledge, Islamic standards, and digital Islamic economy. Next. And this is some of our projects and initiatives that we have launched, and some of them still currently working on during this year and the upcoming years. So if I will mention one of the most important initiatives is if we will talk about the Islamic finance, we have some initiatives like the Global Islamic Finance Codification. We recently in last Ramadan has launched the Islamic codification project in the goal of having international codification for Islamic finance. We are working on this project with the Islamic Development Bank, with a highly supporting with some of the most important Islamic entities such as Ayufi in Bahrain, ISDB in Saudi, and ourselves here in UAE, and the Ministry of Finance as well. We also supporting the entrepreneurship ecosystem through supporting one of its kind in the region, the FinTech Hive, in collaboration with the Dubai International Financial Center, in order to support the Islamic finance innovation and technology. We also launched the first in the region, the first higher Sharia board in collaboration with our central bank. Regarding the halal industry supporting, we are working with some of the major entities in Dubai and UAE, like the Emirates International Accreditation Center. We also have launched the International Halal Accreditation Forum, Halal Trade and Marketing Center in Dubai airport free zones. We also supporting some Islamic lifestyle projects, such as the creative economy industry, and supporting the startup on this sector. During the pandemic, maybe as you are aware, we are about to launch the GIS, which was the Global Islamic Economy Summit in last November. But as you know, maybe the delay of Expo in Dubai, we have decided to delay the summit as well to be in cooperation with Expo. During this time, we have put another maybe vision for the summit. And we cope the current pandemic during our online experience. That's why we had a collaboration with Refinitiv as well to run 6 webinars and discussing different issues related to the Islamic economy as sukuk, the new normal of Islamic finance. We have run Islamic creative economy workshop and design workshop, and etc. Also, we have focused on some initiatives that it doesn't have event nature, such as focusing on the Islamic finance codification projects and sukuk standardization projects. That's why during the pandemic, we're trying to cope the new normal of our projects, and we are continuing, inshallah, next year and the upcoming years with our current and future innovative projects, inshallah. This is from my side. I also want to highlight some numbers from the latest SGIE, the State of Global Islamic Economy Report that we have launched. That the represent numbers from the reports has positioned UAE to be the third in general and the first in its position in 2 of the main sectors of Islamic economy, such as media and recreation and modest fashion. Thank you very much for your time. I will give the floor again to my brother Mustafa to complete the program.
Thank you so much, Sister Wada, and a lot of content packed in a very small presentation. But you know what particularly always attracts my eye is the role that DIDC is playing across multiple different areas. One of the strongest things when it comes to infrastructure and the sheer number of initiatives you have, whether it's to do with legislation or accreditation or codification or standardization, the collaboration role that you play both within the UAE, between the government and the private sector, and internationally as well. And in particular, thought leadership, which I think was highlighted today as well. Many of the numbers that DIDC puts out through the State of Global Islamic Economy report are quoted all over the world and is a great benefit to the overall knowledge development for the Islamic economy. I have many follow-ups on that, but we will see if time allows because we are running a little short. But thank you so much for that presentation and those insights. I will now turn to Mr. Ahmed Fauzi from Singularity Ventures in Malaysia. And no conversation about Islamic economy can be complete without speaking about the Malaysian experience, right? They are one of the most developed countries when it comes to Islamic economy across multiple pillars, and now leading the way in many ways when it comes to the digitization of the Islamic economy as well. So without further ado, Brother Ahmed, I leave the floor to you to please share us some insights from Malaysia. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have to admit that I am not an expert in Islamic economy nor an expert in Islamic finance. My background is in IT and in technology and software. So I thought I'd just talk briefly about that in the context of Malaysia and what we're experiencing right now in this country with COVID and with what's happening with the economy. I do have some experience in Islamic finance. I did the information systems plan for Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad when it was first formed. So I do have a bit of experience there. So again, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I just wanted to condense this talk in 10 minutes to what I see would be as far as leadership in the digital Islamic economy in terms of value. What is the value to the world? What are the values? And what is the issue of venue? What I would call the 3 V's. Yeah. So as you can see in this first screen, we're in the COVID area, technology connects us and it monetizes. So I took this screen from as a snapshot from the website, The Social Dilemma. And if any of you have watched the documentary on Netflix, I would recommend it. So it talks about how technology companies such as Google, Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter are shown to use techniques to manipulate human psychology with dire consequences for our society. So through concepts such as gamification, where every interaction resembles part of a computer game, big data is used, statistical techniques are used to identify human behavior. Software developers have turned manipulation into a science in order to serve one word, which is to monetize. So in the past year, new techniques are being developed to improve what they call the human interface. So in fact, there's very little that's human in artificial intelligence. And I would just give this quote out to you. You just keep to this slide, please. The social dilemma, yes. So, there are only 2 industries in the world. This is a quote by Edward Tufte, professor at Yale, who says, only 2 industries that call their customers users, the drug industry and the software industry. And Islamic economy is very much dependent on the software industry, the digital Islamic economy, in order to transact, in order to communicate, in order to sell, in order to socialize. So this movie actually talks about the pitfalls of connecting. It used to monetize us, but software companies actually can use this software through understanding of UI and UX to manipulate us, polarize us, to divide us. So the entire concept of just basing things around value, monetization, be it through Islamic finance or through other means, should not be the only reason why we are in this in terms of providing leadership. So if we go to the next slide, I would like to talk a bit more about the idea of values, how values play a role. And this is where we talk about Islamic finance in Malaysia. So in 1963, I think Tabung Haji, which was the Malaysian investment fund, was formed by the then late Tunku Abdul Rahman. He later, of course, went on to be the Secretary General of the OIC. And he was, of course, the first Prime Minister. And in Tabung Haji, you saw the creation of the first modern day institution for Islamic finance. It was a model of where lifelong savings, people who could not afford to go for Hajj were driven by their lifelong values, again, value-driven ideas that I want to go for Hajj, but I want to save money to go for Hajj. And so they put it into a fund. And then they said, well, we're keeping the money in banks. We don't want that. We don't want, and at that time there were no Islamic banks in Malaysia. So we don't want this riba, we don't want the interest. So the government, Malaysian government organized and set up Tabung Haji. This is way back in 1963. And actually it was one of the first modern implementations of Islamic banking. Of course, this was not really formalized until 1993, when Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad was formed, and subsequently, you know, the Bank Negara and the central bank became involved to allow other banks in Malaysia to have, or to allow its members to set up Islamic bank accounts. So we have commercial banks in Malaysia like Maybank, CIMB, so on and so forth, where they have an Islamic bank subsidiary or partner. So so this was actually the crux, and became the foundation for Islamic finance in the country. It became the DNA of Islamic finance in Malaysia, and it also became the DNA in the Islamic economy, because when we talk about Hajj, we also talk about providing services. Companies and organizations arrange for pilgrims to go to Hajj. They want to do it cleanly and thoroughly, Islamic in nature, and Tabung Haji arranged this in such a way that it was not just a mechanical idea. Okay, I want to put my money in the bank account and it must be riba free, or is Islamic finance. No, finance started to get involved in the aspects of trade, in the aspects of being really integrated in the supply chain of going to Hajj. And this is what happened. And with this, you know, in 2018, Bank Negara came out with a document which they call value-based intermediation, and you can get this on the central bank Bank Negara website. It's a 40-50 page document which talks about the whole idea of value-based intermediation, or VBI. And basically VBI, what it says is it's value that's you know, where the roles and impact of Islamic finance is actually integrated into the way that businesses conduct their dealings. And it's very different from social corporate responsibility, where it is separate from the business, from integrating into the business of the company. It's a very interesting document, and I won't talk about too much about it here, but this chart here shows that fundamental to the values of Islam being adopted in Islamic finance is that would be the DNA, and that was a foundation for this paper. There's another paper again that you can get from the website of Malaysian Digital Corporate MDEC. This paper was just released this year, and basically it describes most of the activities of Islamic finance in terms of startup, in terms of new companies in the ecosystem. If you know so this idea of values has got to be integrated. So we had value, we have values, and the next thing I want to talk about is venue, and this is very interesting. If you just go to the next slide. So this is a story about the Islamic economy, and some of you may know this. It's something I got off the internet, so you just forgive me if I'm going to read this out. But this is developed by Brother Mufti Faraz on a website which is on the slide here. So in 622 CE or AD, our Prophet Rasulullah formed basically what would be known today as a social group, and he established a social community in Medina. One of the main outgrowths of this was the establishment of an Islamic economy. So when he arrived in Medina, it had 4 markets. These 4 markets were located in different parts of cluster towns across Medina, and they were known for their high barriers to entry, high taxes, and unscrupulous practices. So Prophet ﷺ knew the growth of the Islamic economy depended on the markets, that the current markets, and he knew that these current markets were rife with injustices. So he immediately set out to establish a totally new market. And the narrations mention that he himself conducted a land survey to designate the ideal location, and he looked at 2 different sites, and he couldn't find one. So he was approached by a companion and said, why didn't you come and have a look at this site? Which he so did, and our Prophet ﷺ went to the site, and he decreed. He says, "This is your market. Trading should not be suspended, nor should anyone be prevented from trading. There should be no unfair practice, and no taxes will be levied." So this is what he said through the narratives. And the location of this market was actually economically very strategic. It was in the northwest of the city, in a vast open space where trade caravans usually came and disembarked. The market was situated in close proximity to the main entrance of the city, and it was next to the mountain pass. So location was very important to him, and because of this, it not only facilitated local trades, it opened up the doors to international trade, imports and exports. And it signified the fact that the Islamic economy is not just for Muslims. It really is something for everyone. It embodied the use of value, his application of values, and also he made it very clear that there had to be a venue. So these are the 3 V's that I think are very significant and important in leadership in the digital Islamic economy. So brothers and sisters, I started off by talking about this movie called The Social Dilemma, which is a documentary which identified many of the pitfalls of connecting and of using the internet and the influence it can have on the world. In the movie, the conclusion was that it said, never before have a handful of tech designers had such control over the way billions of us think, act, and live our lives. We see all over the world today, Twitter being used, Facebook being used to influence elections, software engineers in their back rooms use big data analysis to push out ideas, to create situations which divide us, all on the premise of creating value, and all on the premise of monetization. We are in the business of monetization as well. Yet, we also have to say to ourselves, in 622 AD, since 622 AD, never has a single person had such influence over the way humankind think, act, and live our lives. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the person who influenced our lives. And with the 3 V's, I would like to add value, values, venue, and the last V that we get from him is vision. So that is my talk on leadership in digital Islamic economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Ahmed. That was a very, very interesting discussion. I have actually seen the movie Social Dilemma, and like you, I highly recommend it to everybody. It's fascinating. And I loved how you started your presentation by tackling the ethical aspect of digitization straight away. And, likewise, it's very heartening to see Bank Negara Malaysia's leadership in this area, where they were, the first central bank to launch a VBI for Islamic banking institutions, looking at the values first. And, what you mentioned about vision right at the end, something that is consistent across Malaysia, Indonesia, and the UAE, the 3 markets that we've seen, is that the vision to develop the Islamic economy is being driven from the leadership right at the very top. And that is why it is trickling down with the impact that it's having. And that's why we can see the results that we do see. So thank you very much for that. I'm very mindful of the time. We're running extremely late, but we do have Rushdi on the session. And Rushdi, I would, like to give you the opportunity to perhaps conclude the session. You have always been known as an innovator, back from your, days in Dow Jones, your days at Thomson Reuters, and even till today, you are always seen as a leading innovator and driver for the Islamic economy. And you have worked extensively with not only these 3 markets, Malaysia, Indonesia, and UAE, but you have also worked around the world with different initiatives and different institutions on the Islamic economy. So I think it would be very, very appropriate if you could conclude the session for us and bring out your insights as to what we can learn from some of the initiatives in these different markets and what we should be looking to, drive the future development of the Islamic economy, leveraging the trend of digitization as we see it today. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Mustafa, for the kind introduction. I'm just a student of the space, learning from minds that I've heard from today. To Excellency, the Vice President of Indonesia, Excellency, the Executive Director of KNEKS, and Excellency, the CEO of Dubai Islamic Development Center. I am honored and humbled to be here. The way I, in the interest of time, I want to condense what I want to say, but the best way to say it is to show it. And what I will say is the following, that the Islamic economy has to basically think about itself from the optic of it being part of the platform economy. The platform economy concept basically was first heard by Harvard Business Review in 2013. And then a consulting firm basically said that 7 of the 10 largest companies in the world have, as part of their business, platforms. So Amazon, Alibaba, Facebook, and others, basically a platform approach. McKinsey study basically said that close to 30% of global economic activity, which is about $60 trillion, will be taking place on digital platforms. So we went from Islamic banking and finance to Islamic economy to Islamic digital economy, and that Islamic digital economy is aligned to the platform economy. So at a high level, that's the first thing. The second thing, which is extremely interesting, is the Islamic digital economy has to align itself to global trends for it to be relevant. We cannot continue to operate as an island to ourselves. We have to be part of the bigger movement and also provide as an alternative to the bigger movement. So there are about 5 areas that I just want to take you all through quickly that are globally trending that Islamic digital economy is actually part of. And what we're trying to do at iPORTAL is showcase it at stage 1, and at stage 2, we will gamify it. So the first thing is, the first global trend is there is a knowledge gap. There's an illiteracy for the interested masses. The access gateway to the Islamic economy is education. So the approach that we've done is Islamic economy and Islamic finance in the fourth industrial revolution. So if we were to look at that, here are the courses, and we have got 74 courses, 50% are free and 50% are paid. They're nominally paid. We stuck to introductory courses. The reason we stuck to introductory courses, either free or nominal fee, was they should not be a high price, which acts as a tax on knowledge. We want more young people to learn about the things that are going on in this space, whether it's modest fashion, halal cosmetics, Muslim media, travel, halal food, so on and so forth. But if there's a high price, then it acts as a deterrent. So that is an important part and parcel of this process. So the second global trend that is extremely important is social impact startups. So what a lot of young people want is they want to be part of the disruptive economy. They think themselves as change agents. So if we were to look at the startup ecosystem, for example, in Indonesia, what we'll find is actually halal tech. Halal tech means agri-tech. So what we are focusing here on is the ecosystem. And these are the areas that we're covering in Indonesia. We've got 10 Muslim majority countries, and we have Singapore, and we've got India. The point here is the startup ecosystem exists in the Muslim world. And what we're trying to do is showcase it, because if we can show the young people accelerators, angel investors, incubators, various sectors, then what we have is basically a digital pathway of inclusion. What you also want to talk about is the next area of a global trend. So the next area of global trending is impact investing. The concept of impact investing is a relatively new phenomenon in the West, about building schools, clinics, hospitals in the third world. The Waqf, or Islamic endowment, has been involved in this for 1400 years. So if we basically expand the narrative of the Waqf and show it by way of research that Waqf is impact investing, much like how Western institutions and conventional investors bought into sukuk and green sukuk, we think that Western institutions, foundations, philanthropy, family offices will be involved in Waqf projects, but we have to reduce the information search costs. There are a number of Waqf projects in Indonesia, and we're showcasing it, but we want to showcase Waqf projects from the point of view of Kickstarters globally. So if we can show these projects on one platform, reducing the information search costs, where impact investors in the West view Waqf economy as impact investing, then we are going to basically funneling in more money into social impact-driven projects. So that is a third area that is globally trending, that is part of Islamic economy, Islamic digital economy. The next area is, what are the signposts on the road ahead in the Islamic digital economy? So what we did is, in working with a number of academics, institutions, and scholars, we basically said, these are some of the signposts on the road ahead. One of the most important is sustainability as an antidote to climate change. So the way we're showcasing it is, what is sustainability and Islamic finance and Islam about? If you look at how Islam talks about sustainability, it uses the term stewardship. And stewardship in the Quran is referenced with respect to air, water, biodiversity, and waste. So what we've done here is, working with contributors, we've got a number of research articles with respect to Islam and Islamic finance, Islamic economy, and sustainability. And what we've also done, again, for a lot of young people who want to go into this space, they want to know about these areas linked to sustainability. So if we're talking about something like sustainable palm oil, what is going on in sustainable palm oil, which is a big issue in Indonesia and Malaysia? We're not showcasing it. The point here is Islamic digital economy has to be aligned itself to global trends to basically provide itself as an alternative. There is a wealth of other things that are on this platform, but in the interest of time, I'll just basically talk about one or two things in a fast track basis. On the job board, there are about 250 jobs that we've posted in the Islamic economy globally. And because the new normal is about remote work and distributed teams, here's an opportunity for young people living in Indonesia or Malaysia or Pakistan or Turkey to apply for jobs in jurisdictions beyond where they reside. This is the new normal, and we need to build bridges of inclusion. And these are digital bridges, and they are aligned to what the young people want. The young people today, 60% of the Muslim world is less than 35 years old. This is a huge demographic bulge bracket. And what is Islamic banking and finance and halal doing? It should be doing more, but as it revs up to do more, institutions such as ourselves, who are part of the Islamic digital economy, which is part of a bigger thing, which is called the platform economy. We're doing something, but we're trying to do things in context that doesn't repeat what others are doing. Great work in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in the UAE. We're taking a different perspective, and we're saying, what are globally trending topics, and what is the Islamic digital economy doing, and how can we first, stage one, showcase it all in one place, and then at the second stage, basically gamify each of these areas. So I will stop right here. I thank you very much for the opportunity to share what iPORTAL is. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Rushdie. The portal looks amazing. I've mentioned that to you privately as well. And, you know, I think it's a great contribution to the Islamic economy sector. And, you know, if we had more time, we would have loved to do more of a deep dive in there, but I would encourage every participant who is on this webinar to definitely take some time to have a look through it. It is an amazing platform that will address many of the gaps that currently exist within the Islamic economy and help push the needle in the right direction. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I would like to bring the first session to a close. You know, we have a lot of questions that have come in, but unfortunately, we do not have the time to respond to some of them. But I would like, you know, you to please join me in thanking my fellow panelists for this session. And with that, I would like to hand over back to the moderator to kick off the second session of the day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mustafa, for moderating the session one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen panel session one discussing about the contributions from Indonesia, UAE, and also Malaysia in developing Islamic economy. So now moving on to the second session. This is also interesting because we will discuss about literacy as the key ingredient for Islamic economy in the new normal era. We have more diverse speakers in this session, 6 speakers in total, ranging from public, private, and NGO sectors from various countries as well. And ladies and gentlemen, this session will be moderated by my sister, Mrs. Shaima Hassan, the proposition manager at Islamic Finance team from Refinitiv. We're really sorry, due to the limited time, we did not open the Q&A session, but hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, you can take a fruitful discussion from this session. So without further ado, Shaima, I hand over the stage to you.
Thank you, sister. Good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are. Hope that you are safe and healthy, and you and your beloved ones during these difficult times. My name is Shaima Hassan, a senior proposition manager within Islamic finance team at Refinitiv, And today I'll moderate the second session of the day, which is covering literacy as key ingredients for Islamic economy in the new normal, covering education. So the development of the Islamic economy industry at any country or jurisdiction is a function of human capital resources that can supply the knowledge and the skills required to sustain and enhance the functionality of the industry. It is not enough to have professionals who have training and expertise in conventional banking or food industry or fashion. They will also need the depth of expertise in the Islamic law or Islamic concept or standards in order to innovate or provide incremental advances to the practices of Islamic economy. As such, much of the industry development will rely on a group of people who are trained professionals and who combine the exposure of conventional market and structured study of Islamic economy, inclusive of its core principles. That is why Islamic literacy and education is important. With that being said, I would like to welcome you all to our session in which we have speakers joining us from around the world to share their views and expertise to discuss the role of literacy and education in to develop Islamic economy. I would like to invite all our speakers today to join the session, starting with Dr. Nada Khan, a board member of iPORTAL, Mr. Uthman Abdullah, the CEO of Islamic Banking from Silver Lake, Mr. Jamal Abbas, Head of Islamic Financial Inclusion from KNKS, Mr. Khawaja Sheikh, CTO of IBM from US, and Mr. Atayb Dijani, a consultant United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia from Lebanon, and Mr. Garrett Kelly from IF. He's an IF specialist from the United Nations Development Program from Indonesia. We will give 5 to 10 minutes to each speaker. Mindful of the time, we try to minimize it to 5 to 7 minutes max to share their point of view of the topic. And if you have any question, you can add it to the Q&A. We will start with Dr. Nada Khan, she's a board member of iPORTAL, with the topic of application of artificial intelligence in Islamic finance. Dr. Nada, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Shaima. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. And as Shaima pointed out, I would be speaking about the applications of artificial intelligence or AI in the Islamic finance industry. Now, artificial intelligence is a very pivotal technology, which will have a very, very big impact on the entire financial industry. And it is estimated that by 2020, artificial intelligence will save approximately more than $1 trillion. And big banks, like, they are spending around more than 1 billion per year on regulatory compliance. And the current pandemic, if you notice, the COVID-19 has made on-site inspections of financial institutions difficult. And the financial institutions are moving to virtual platforms if they have not done already. And this is generating a large amount of data for supervision. And if you look around yourself, whether it's your smartphone, whether it's your social media account, basically what each of us are doing is generating lots and lots of data. And this data is being used by tech giants to monetize and enhance their own revenue. And artificial intelligence is a key technology that is behind all these initiatives. And when we talk about data, so we are living in a world that is essentially being governed by data, and data is the fuel for artificial intelligence. And I'll try to just embark on a few applications in different areas in Islamic finance. So when we talk about front office, we think in terms of like credit scoring or chatbots. These are all empowered by artificial intelligence. And credit scoring, like if you think in terms of many Muslims who perhaps live in countries that do not have Islamic financial institutions giving loans, and they are ineligible perhaps to get a loan from a conventional financial institution because they lack a credit score. So artificial intelligence can be used to assign a credit score to these people by using perhaps their transaction history, or the social media that is generated by social media data that is generated by them. And it is it has been analyzed that these alternative credit scoring methodologies are much better and more accurate in predicting risks than the conventional ones. Now, when we talk about takafful, which is basically Islamic insurance, artificial intelligence, among many other applications, can really prove to be beneficial. When you think in terms of, you have two pools. One is the investment pool, and the other is the pool where you have the funds with which to help everybody to support each other in times of need. So AI can really help to predict the amount of funds that should be allocated to each pool. Then, and of course, this is done by using historical data or past data that is accumulated. Then when we think about chatbots, of course, I'm sure most of us are aware of this. Most of us are using it. It's being increasingly used by e-commerce platforms. And financial institutions can definitely and should use these to help people have a real-time feedback to their queries, especially in Islamic finance, when it comes to questions related to Sharia. Then talking about the middle office, we have the anti-money laundering and the counter-terrorist financing. Now, AI can really help in this. What can be done is that, the transactions can be monitored, and AI can be used to detect patterns in this transaction history, perhaps that human observation cannot see. And then it can point out, that this is suspicious activity. And then it can also alert and raise triggers based on the gravity of the situation. For example, an activity requires instant attention by the personnel. So this can be done through AI. Then when we think in terms of know your customer, which is very, very crucial nowadays to prevent unauthorized users from gaining access to your network resources, then artificial intelligence can again prove to be very beneficial. You can perhaps use facial recognition to implement automated KYC solutions. Then when we talk about sentiment analysis, this is something which is being used increasingly nowadays to gauge the public opinion regarding a certain product or service. And again, artificial intelligence plays a pivotal role here. It can help you to gauge the public opinion regarding a particular product, the deficiencies in it, and how it can be improved. Then coming to back office, then here AI can really help to streamline processes, perhaps create or find new opportunities, and then enable you to use the data to take informed decisions regarding the capital optimization. Then again, when you talk about the market impact, then whenever a large amount of money is being traded or a big action is being taken, then artificial intelligence can play a very important role in helping you schedule those actions. Perhaps it's a trade decision. So perhaps two trading tasks should not be coupled together to maximize market impact. And all these insights can be used by, can be gained by using AI. Then nowadays, financial institutions are increasingly using models. Now, what happens is that if a model is not valid, it can prove to be not so good for the financial institution. So artificial intelligence can help to validate these models, verify that the outcome is as desired by the organization. Then coming to asset and wealth management firms, they have large amounts of historical data, which again can be used by artificial intelligence to give insights. For example, asset managers can use artificial intelligence to manage portfolios. Then you can have a service of robo-advisors, which can help people in their investment decisions. Then coming to regulatory technology, like I mentioned before, that the banks are spending a large amount of money on complying to regulations. So what can be done here is that you can use machine learning, which is a subset of artificial intelligence, along with natural language processing, which again is a subset of artificial intelligence, to help to automate the compliance to regulations and to ensure, like you monitor the communication channel that is in-house within the organization, and see whenever any lapses occurring because of not adhering to a certain regulation. And this can be readily achieved by using AI. Then along with RegTech, what I saw is that we have another aspect in Islamic finance that needs to be taken care of in terms of compliance, and that is the Sharia. So I propose that there should be something known as Sharia technology, whereby we use technical tools and aids to automate the process of compliance to the Sharia. And maybe we can name it SharTech. Then coming to supervisory technology or subtech, this basically is the RegTech for the regulators. So you have the supervisory authorities or firms that are watching over the regulatory firms and seeing whether the regulations are, whether the regulatory bodies are really functioning as they should or not. And they are getting data from these regulatory firms. So what can be achieved using artificial intelligence is that they can have a real-time feedback. Then they can help to see which regulations are not being properly adhered to, and perhaps based on that they can come up with new regulations to support the compliance procedure in a better and in an automated way. So I think artificial intelligence is something which really needs to be at the core of every financial institution in the Islamic finance industry. And it is something for which we should have trained personnel. And if they are not in the organization, then they should be recruited so that the Islamic finance industry is at par with the tech giants that are dominating in the world. And I think I'm done with this, Shaima. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nada. I think that was very interesting insight, and hopefully that artificial intelligence will be more popular in the near future, especially for Islamic finance and Islamic economy. With that, given the time limitation, I would like to move to Mr. Uthman Abdullah, the CEO of Islamic Banking, where he will cover the global Islamic digital economy, and he will talk about the Islamic digital economy platform as a pillar of the overall Islamic economy. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. First of all, I would like to thank you very much to the organizer, KNEKS, iPORTAL, and Refinitiv for having me. I'm humble and honored to be here. When I received this invitation to participate in this webinar, when I look at the topic, the theme of the conference, digitalization leading the Islamic economy in the new normal, without hesitation, I accepted the invitation because this is a topic which is dear to me at the moment. Maybe some of you, maybe most of you who do not know me, the organization that I work for, Silver Lake, we are mainly known for banking solution provider, having provided our banking solution in quite a number of countries, Malaysia and Indonesia, especially a lot of major banks are running on us. But in addition to providing banking solution, we are also, contributing to this digital economy, digital banking space, and things like that. So coming back to the topic of today, as introduced by moderator just now, Ms. Shaima, I will be talking about Islamic digital economy as one of the pillars of digital economy. Before I go into my topic, I just want to, quickly say this to Dr. Nida. Thank you very much for that very interesting artificial intelligence presentation. I am at the moment working on a PhD, and my thesis is about artificial intelligence application in the Sharia ruling of Islamic finance. Yeah, so I can relate very much to whatever that you're talking about. So yeah. So coming back to this, I am actually still quite excited from the presentation by Brother Rushdie just now when he introduced the concept of Islamic digital economy being related to the platform economy, which relates very much to what I'm going to be talking about today. As we all have observed, I think this has been mentioned by a few speakers earlier, that COVID-19 pandemic has pushed upon us, has made us, forced upon us to adopt all these digital services. I always like to give this example. In Malaysia, during Ramadan, we have this thing what we call Bazaar Ramadan. In the afternoon, late afternoon, there will be bazaar open. There will be all sort of food that we can buy for our iftar. So coming this year in 2020, came Ramadan, we couldn't have our physical Bazaar Ramadan. So, but even that Bazaar Ramadan become digital this year, so people sell it, online, and we use a rider company to deliver the food. Yeah. So yes, COVID-19 has really pushed upon us to adopt these digital services. And we notice that there's this rising demand for Islamic themed digital product and services. And our market is really big. We have got this 2 billion global Muslim population, which is still growing every year, and they are more progressive financially and becoming more IT savvy. And it's very heartening to see the presentation from Dr. Sultan earlier in KNKS agenda, and a lot of things has been incorporated with digital economy initiative. So what I'm going to share with you today, this is the Global Islamic Digital Economy. In short, we call it GLIDE. This is a digital economy platform. Yeah, this is a digital economy platform. To relate to what Brother Rushdie presented earlier, this is a community-based platform. Yeah, so for those of you who are not very familiar with the concept of digital economy, when we talk about economy, it is not complete without talking about the demand and supply, right? So as far as digital economy is concerned, this is where the demand and supply are happening online. And under this global Islamic digital economy or GLIDE platform that we're working on, this is going to be a platform that we are introducing to the market. This, by the way, this is from private sector initiative, because I'm not working for an organization like KNEKS or the IEDC in Dubai. In Malaysia, we would have something like MDAG that promote this agenda. But from private initiative perspective, we are planning to introduce to the market. We are already, making some progress. We are planning to provide alternative financial services, access capabilities, and employment opportunities through Islamic digital economy platform, right? So this is related to Brother Rushdie about the platform economy just now. So from the demand perspective, it will be people like you and me, individuals. We have financial institutions. Of course, we have business entities that will be having all sorts of demands, right? And we're planning to board these people, to onboard these people who demand these services into our community platform. And from this platform, we are planning to have 4 pillars. I cannot go into very detail of these individual pillars, but I just want to quickly mention one of the pillars is going to be an e-investment type of pillars, and where we are going to use, behavioral science. This is not just a typical digital saving, but this is actually a saving that incorporates human behavior, that, play with some kind of psychology, how to, promote saving to them. And then once you have a saving, you have your e-wallet, then we will offer e-payment services for that you can have access your money. Then, of course, when we talk about digital economy, it's not complete with the e-commerce platform. And once all these financial institutions are all connected, and this is going to be in the global scale, I like to relate to the Link Ajar Sharia that Brother Sultan presented earlier, where that is basically an e-payment scheme that is connected and is going to be used for the services related to the Sharia compliant only. And we envision this at the global level, that we can connect the financial institution that is basically providing all the payment services, and is only used for the product and services which is Sharia compliant. Yeah, so eventually we can connect all this organization using this iSwitch. That you can think of it like a SWIFT, but it's going to be a Sharia compliant version of SWIFT, so that the GLIDE members will be able to remit money, to do a money transfer, to subscribe to the services, which is more attractive, and at the same time we can ensure them of the Sharia compliant services of whatever they are subscribing. So that is very briefly about what Global Islamic Digital Economy platform that we are doing. I decided to share this because from education perspective, and I can share with all of you how we can introduce the Global Islamic Digital Economy platform into the market, linking the demand and supply online. And this is all about platform business. We're talking about an ecosystem business. we are dealing with APIs, where we are dealing with collaboration. So for example, when we go to Indonesia, we introduce in Indonesia, then we can onboard all the service providers in Indonesia. You know, where possible, we collaborate. Where it's not possible, then we have to introduce something new. So that is the concept, an ecosystem concept. Yeah, so I would just like to finish with a few summary of the value proposition of this global Islamic digital economy platform that we are working on. We intend to transform, unite, and strengthen global Muslim community through a halal digital platform so that it can become a one-stop integrated digital platform for Sharia compliant products and services, which can stimulate and encourage economy within the global Muslim community, and to provide viable, alternative, and attractive Sharia compliant product and services to the members. And finally, with the hope of contributing and stimulating the Islamic digital economy globally. Yeah, with that, I pass back the floor to our moderator. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Atman. And it was very interesting to see the platform, and I hope that it actually helps with the Islamic digital economy angle, and it will improve the Islamic economy overall. With that, I would like to move to Mr. Jamal Abbas, Head of Islamic Financial Inclusion from KNEKS, who will discuss about collaboration-based Islamic financial services. Go ahead, Mr. Jamal, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Saima. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity given to me. My name is Jamal Abbas from KNEKS. Since I only have 7 minutes, let me go straight to my presentation file. I'm asking the organizer to allow me to operate my slide by myself. You can hear me clearly, yeah?
Very clear.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So since I only have 7 minutes, I would like to focus my sharing today on collaboration-based Islamic financial services. This is something which is relatively simple, but we find it quite impactful. This is something that we have initiated by KNEKS since last year. In today's forum, I think the keywords are digitalization and literacy. Talking about digitalization, I guess everybody agree that Islamic finance are enjoying a lot of benefits from digitalization. But one thing that we must be very careful is digitalization is not just being enjoyed by us, but also being enjoyed by the conventional finance, our competitors in this case. So digitalization, while is in a way giving benefit to us, but what I see it is actually making the competition much tougher, and in some cases that it creates more temptation for the people, for the ummah who are initially, I mean, they wanted to move to Sharia, but because of a lot of digital innovation in conventional as well, it becomes a heavy temptation and create the competition much tougher. So as we can see, with digitalization the quality of our services is better, but market share, it is still another challenge for us. And second thing is about literacy. Everybody agree about the importance of literacy in expanding Islamic economy and finance. But the question is, while I believe we managed to create a lot of very good education material on Islamic economy and finance, but especially in the big countries like Indonesia, we also need a lot of people to deliver those materials, those knowledge to the people. Here in Indonesia, we have 260 million people, so you can imagine how many millions of teachers or trainers to deliver those materials. So that would, I mean, with digitalization, we believe that it should bring, I mean, we must be able to improve the literacy. If we can manage the digitalization and literacy well, then we may expect a great improvement in the Islamic financial inclusion in Indonesia and also at the global level. So to handle those issues, since last year we come up with a simple campaign called Kolaks. So I think the Indonesian agree. I mean, they know what is kolaks. It is a very famous dessert, especially during the Ramadan in Indonesia. But in this case, kolaks stands for Kolaborasi Layanan Keuangan Syariah, or can we translate it into English as collaboration-based Islamic financial services. So nothing too complicated about this, but that is something that we haven't done over the last few decades. Talking about providing financial services, and also doing literacy, what we have seen in the last 2 decades is most of the job were done by Islamic financial institution, especially the Islamic bank. I mean, they are doing the good job, but since our market is so huge, a lot of we have millions of or hundreds of millions of stakeholders of our ummah that needs this approach. Then there is something simple that we need to improve in this case. The main idea of COLAX or collaboration-based Islamic financial services is, from now on, we would like to invite and remind everyone that the work of providing Islamic financial services should be done collaboratively by various stakeholders, not just the Islamic financial institution, but also the non-finance stakeholders. So, for example, in Indonesia, we have a huge non-finance stakeholders, what we call pesantren. Many people say pesantren can be translated as Islamic boarding school, but after I understand more about pesantren, I must say that pesantren is not just a school. In Indonesia, pesantren, although it looks like a school, but the difference with ordinary school is pesantren, they are not just taking care of the student, but they are also try to educate, try to improve the life of the people around it. So pesantren is a school which is actively doing community development in their area. In Indonesia, we have at least 28,000 such institutions with a total student of more than 4 million people. So if we can invite non-finance Islamic finance non-finance stakeholders like pesantren or school in your respected countries, then we may expect that the literacy work is not only done by the banks, by the Islamic financial institution, but also by them, by this education institution in many Islamic countries. And then educating Islamic economy and educating the people, the public about Islamic economy and finance is not that easy. So we need involvement of more and more people, especially the one with respect in the society. So the teachers, the ustad, the kiai, or the sheikh in this case, they are greatly respected by the people, and they are obeyed by them. So if the literacy is also done by various stakeholders like this, we may expect different results. And also in this case, our COLAC is not just about doing literacy, but really providing Islamic financial services through those stakeholders, or in this case, through those schools. Alhamdulillah, we have the Islamic Bank in Indonesia and also in many other countries are improving. But considering the number of the people, especially the Muslim in our countries, I think the branches owned by the banks are not enough. So people still feel that Islamic finance is not near them. They don't see it. So they feel far away. So what they do, finally, they don't go to Islamic finance, but they prefer to go to any bank nearby. But if we manage to create collaboration with schools, or in Indonesia we have schools, but we also have pesantren, thousands of those, then we can expect that people will feel Islamic finance is coming nearer to them. And the collaboration, it is about maximizing every party's core competence. So what in our simple model here, this is just a simplified model. The COLAX unit at pesantren or at school or even at a campus, they become agent for Islamic bank or Islamic microfinance, Islamic multi-finance, Islamic fintech, and last but not least is zakat and waqf organization. So by being the agent for various institutions, they can provide various services to the community. So the people will feel that now it is easy to do saving, transaction, and financing the Sharia way, and also easy to pay zakat, infak, sedekah, wakaf, or getting help. If they are mustahik, it's easier for them to get what they right, what they deserve. And also education and Islamic finance become nearer, reachable, and also in many ways, because it is provided by the local institution, we can do education on Islamic finance more appropriately with right method, with the right way that people can easily accept. So with technology, that model is materialized as simple as this. With technology, everything connection with Islamic bank, Islamic fintech, multi-finance, zakat, infak, sadaqah can be done from a laptop, computer, or even a simple mobile phone. So the school, they don't need to invest in a big unit with fancy offices, expensive office equipment, but just a simple corner with one computer and one laptop, and there it is. So people, the villagers they can go to the nearest pesantren, nearest school, or nearest campus to get Islamic financial services. Again, people, they like Islamic finance, but in many cases, especially in the big countries, they find Islamic financial services is too far away, or or not comfortable enough, or they feel sometimes they are reluctant, especially the poor people. I mean, when they see luxurious bank officers, they feel that it is not for them. But if schools, pesantren, or masjid, musola, and others, they provide this like a simple corner for Islamic financial service, and people will find it more comfortable. And inshallah, we may expect Islamic financial inclusion to increase significantly very soon if this idea is applied in many places. So again, in these 5 minutes, what we want to share from Indonesia, from KNEKS, is about developing collaboration-based Islamic financial services. I mean, when we pray, when we do salat, we do jama'ah, pray together. So when we provide Islamic financial services, why don't we do it together? And together in this case, it's not just the bank collaborate with other bank, or microfinance collaborate with microfinance, but really we need to encourage collaboration from various stakeholders, even like from the bank to the schools to masjid, or to any stakeholder that we have, including like a government or the village government offices. So really, we know that there are a lot of stakeholders in Islamic finance and economy. So we really need to get their involvement to encourage collaboration among them to see stronger Islamic finance in this world, inshallah. Thank you very much. I return this back to you, Saima. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum salam. Thank you, Mr. Jamal, for the interesting presentation. And I agree with you, digitalizing is the next way, and it's a great tool in order to improve the literacy. And of course, given our concept as Muslim and Islamic finance and Islamic economy, collaboration is a key tool that and cooperation is a key tool that we all need to use, not only in our personal life, but also during work. And I think having non-financial stakeholders added will definitely become a game changer to the Islamic economy industry. With that being said, I would like to invite Mr. Khawaja Sheikh, who will speak about hybrid cloud and artificial intelligence implications of economies, corporate, and education. Please, Mr. Khawaja, start your presentation and your speech.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I would like to thank all the organizers of this event, as well as the Vice President of Indonesia and all the organizers and the distinguished panelists. It was an amazing event today. And since we touched on a lot of things, beginning with the Islamic finance to platforms to artificial intelligence to collaboration, as well as values and ethics, I would like to shed some light on various industries, how the digital acceleration is taking place in the context of various technologies. The next slide. So essentially, during the next 5 to 7 minutes, I'm going to address these 4 questions. There are some industries that are more sensitive to technology adoption than others. Number 2, Do some key technologies have a greater impact on performance? Do different technologies play different roles in different industries? Number 3, how has the mix of technologies in each industry has changed during the pandemic? Does the impact of technology mix vary by key business capabilities? Which combinations optimize performance returns? When we address all these 4 questions, there are 3 takeaways that happen. Number 1, tech-savvy organizations outperformed peer by 6 percentage points on average across 12 industries. Number 2, the technology mix recipe for success is changing. Increasingly, cloud and AI are becoming performance differentiators. And the optimal technology mix for performance varies significantly between industries. What happens in retail is quite different from banking, is quite different from oil and gas. Next slide. So if you look at the slide, various industries are listed on the line at the bottom. Due to pandemic, retail is the significant driver in terms of the adoption of the technology. In the past, I used to go to the grocery store where I will pick and choose the items that I need, but where everything was associated with the grocery store employees serving the customers. But with pandemic, what is happening is sitting at home, I'm opening up my mobile phone and picking up whatever the items that I need. I'm ordering it through the mobile phone, and all the items are getting it delivered to my home. So in a nutshell, what is happening is instead of being inside out, it's happening outside in. Basically, the customers are driving every transaction, and all the transactions are centered around the customer intimacy. Next slide. So this is an interesting graph. If you look at this slide, there are certain technologies that were very popular pre-COVID-19, but there are certain technologies that became popular during COVID-19. For example, Internet of Things, mobile, and advanced analytics are popular pre-COVID-19. But during the COVID-19, we have seen mobile, artificial intelligence, and cloud. They are driving all the transformation. So if you are not innovating, if you are not using the cloud, all the business innovation is happening on the cloud, and the technology is getting democratized where anybody can access the technology at any point in time and provide the services. And I know Dr. Nida Khan talked a lot about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is going to be a general purpose technology that is going to impact every part of our life. Whatever we do, whatever we search today is essentially an artificial intelligence. And another example is a lot of call centers. Those days are gone where I used to pick up my phone and talk to the customer service agent, whereas I open the mobile phone, I have a chatbot. Using the chatbot, I am going to get all the information that I need, and it is providing the significant benefit for the customers. And the mobile is going to become a fundamental technology with the COVID, and we have seen there is a significant acceleration using the mobile technology. And there is a high performance impact from automation technologies such as robotic process automation in certain industries. And when we talk about hybrid cloud, you have to think about remodeling the home. When you want to remodel your home, obviously you are not going to demolish every room. Rather, you pick and choose which room you want to modernize, and you modernize it slowly. The same concept applies with the hybrid cloud, where a lot of enterprises have already invested a lot of investment on their existing infrastructure. At the same time, they want to meet the customer demands. So there is a significant shift in terms of what technologies they will slowly upgrade to the newer technologies, what applications that they are going to keep, what applications, net new applications that they're going to build. So hybrid cloud is essentially a journey towards the digital transformation. Next slide. This is an interesting slide. I know we talked about Islamic finance and it touches across multiple industries. I will take a couple of industries here. On the first column, I have various industries listed, right from aerospace, defense to all the way to travel. And I have segmented it by four dimensions: differentiator, opportunity, essential, and emerging. If you look at the travel industry as an example, the cloud and mobile is the key differentiator. The company, the airlines that use cloud and mobile effectively, they will be the one that will succeed. For example, I open a mobile phone, I open an airline app. If I have an ability to change my flight, if there is a warning due to the weather, if I have an ability to track my baggage using my mobile phone, that will be a key differentiator for the airlines. And then you will see there virtual reality as an opportunity. It's all about the experience. The passenger experience is key. When the passengers are traveling in the airline, what kind of experience they get using the virtual reality technology is also a technology that provides a lot of value. And the Internet of Things is essentially an essential technology for airline industry, where the more the time the plane sits in the garage for the repair, the higher the cost for the maintenance. So using the Internet of Things technology, you can reduce the issues related to the maintenance. You can reduce the issues related to the maintenance, and you can have the flight on time. And there are certain technologies like analytics that you can run on the based on the flight path, etc., and reduce the cost of the fuel. So what I want to bring up on this slide is essentially you have various technologies, and the key lies in the confluence of technologies. You cannot use a single technology as a bolt-on technology. Rather, the more you use a combination of these technologies towards your business outcomes, the greater the success will be. And then the finance will be the center of all these transactions. And if you look at on the emerging pillar, you will see the blockchain is listed there. In the banking and financial markets, you have the blockchain essentially providing the transparency of the transactions. And if you look at industrial products, you have 3D printing as an opportunity. So in terms of chemicals, you will see robotic process automation and the robots as the emerging technology. So you have to look into different technologies, how each technology plays for various industries, and based on that, you have to map your journey in terms of its adoption, in terms of its innovation, as you embrace the startups across various industries. There are some leaders, there are some companies within some industries that will be leading certain technologies, while other companies will be following them. For example, the digital giants that we heard earlier about, Google, etc., who will be driving some of those transactions, whereas the brick and mortar companies will be following the path. But the future lies more around the cloud native architecture, everything around the customer. The more you make your transactions frictionless, the more you make experience economy, and the more you combine all these technologies towards the business outcomes, the greater the success you will have. Back to you, Shama. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khwaja. I think this is very interesting, and I agree with you. Technology and cloud services will be the next thing coming up in the Islamic economy, and we will have a lot of impact that will improve, hopefully, the industry overall. Being aware of the time, everyone, I would request from the next speakers to try to minimize their speech and presentation. I apologize about that, and we might shrink the Q&A session. With that being said, sorry. With that being said, I would like to invite Mr. Rahardjo, consultant Hello? Sorry.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'm speaking to you from Beirut, Lebanon. I work with the United Nations as a consultant, and I look forward to be enriched with your thoughts and comments during the Q&A session. Is all in the correct order? Are you hearing me properly?
Yes, please go ahead. Yes.
Okay. The benevolent social and finance communities in the Western civilization have been attempting to define governance and ethical frameworks that propelled principled, benevolent, and commercial activities. Ethical finance and investment attempt to reduce excessive speculation and strike a balance between the benefits and vested interests of all stakeholders. Recently, initiatives for responsive and responsible finance and investment include ethical and impact investment, sustainable green and blue investment and finance activities that hold positive externalities guided by environmental, social governance norms and standards. These were introduced and promulgated in the Western civilization. In essence, such norms and standards and even more have been with us for more than 1400 years, epitomized through the Islamic social finance or the Waqf economy. The precepts of the Islamic social finance include the principles of fairness and justice, such as al-ghunmu bil-ghurm wal-kharaju bil-daman, that people will share the benefits and the profits, as well as take the burdens together of risks and challenges. The pillars of Sharia from macro perspective add immunity and strength to the national economies as well as the global economy through three main prohibitions. These are selling debt for debt. Therefore, securitizing debt is something that is not encouraged in Islamic Sharia, and therefore global financial crisis that occurred in 2007 to 2009 was a result of taking an extreme element of securitization of debt instruments. Also, the second prohibition is the prohibition against selling short various instruments, financial instruments, and various markets. So short selling is in essence selling what one does not own. Therefore, there is a prohibition from a saying by the Prophet, peace be upon him, that one should not sell what he does not own. Trading futures options exclusively for speculative purposes is also something that may cause over leveraging and may cause speculative market sentiment that will in essence lead to a financial crisis. Islamic social economy developed over the 1400 years various instruments. However, the four main instruments are zakat, which is an obligatory almsgiving, and it's valued at $300 billion per annum. The second instrument in size and in impact is Waqf, and Waqf assets are valued at least $1 trillion US. However, the problem with Waqf assets is their net return has been throughout the past 4 to 5 decades, according to various studies, less than 1% per annum. And this translates into $10 billion per annum. If we manage through collective investment schemes and to enhance the returns on Waqf, probably we can reach 5-fold that amount, so that a $50 billion per annum benefit to the Islamic countries and Islamic people can also be achieved. The third instrument is Qard al-Hasan, which was a major instrument for the establishment of the modern experience of Islamic banks. The IDB, Islamic Development Bank, the Nasser Bank in Egypt, 1963, were all based on Qard Hasan as the major instrument for in the deeds for their establishment. The fourth instrument that is of importance and relevance is sadaqah, which is a voluntary almsgiving. And in zakat, we have countries that pronounce zakat as the law of the land. Therefore, it's obligatory to pay zakat to the government itself, including Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, including Sudan in the past, and few other countries. Other countries within the Muslim world have also allowed voluntary zakat programs that are managed by the state, including the ones similar to Kuwait, Emirates, Qatar, probably in Malaysia, it's voluntary, and in Indonesia and so forth. In addition to these important four instruments, we have other instruments are of particular importance. For example, al-ushur, al-kafarat, al-nudhur, al-khums in this Shiite jurisprudence. And all in essence help us in the modern experience to map maqasid al-Sharia, or the purposes of Sharia, with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations 2030. And the first of these goals is hifz al-iman, to maintain faith. And this, of course, is related to goals number 1, 2, 3, 6, and 10 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations 2030. When vulnerability and poverty, extreme hunger are reduced, which in turn will, of course, strengthen the faith of the majority of the people. The second of the pillars of Maqasid Sharia is hifz al-nafs, maintaining life. And ISF, or Islamic Social Finance, aligns with goals number 2, 3, 6, 8, and 11, ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being. The third is hifz al-nasl, progeny, preserving progeny, and also ISF helps people escape poverty, trap, promoting and protecting the environment. And this is also in conformity with Sustainable Development Goals number 3, 5, 7, 11, and 12. Also 13, 14, 15, and 16. The fourth is hifz al-aql, the intellect, and ISF aligns and facilitates nourishment, and therefore goals number 1, 2, and 9 are in conformity with this maqsad of maqasid al-Sharia. And the last and the fifth is wealth, hifz al-mal, and zakat, as well as the other instrument of the Islamic social finance, have inbuilt wealth transfer effect, especially SDGs 10, 8, 1, and 3. So the United Nations has carried out this interesting mapping exercise, and as such, there is a movement within the international community to emphasize the importance and the benefits of Islamic social finance. In this respect, one has to note the tools of the Islamic social finance modern practice, being the fourth industrial revolution, fintech, crowdfunding, cryptocurrency, including bitcoins, and probably in the future we will see an Islamic dinar as a cryptocurrency, blockchain technology. And these are important tools that shall have a broad impact or system level influence on our lives. The fundamental distinction between these tools and the earlier industrial revolutions, like Industrial Revolution number 1, which was the steam engine, number 2, the electricity, and 3, the advent of computing and probably digitalization, as opposed to what we are discussing today, which is digitalization. The most important distinction is the scope, the impact, and the rate of change. Rate of progress has been demonstrated by the exponential factor, Moore's law, and achieving the leap as opposed to bridging the gap between the Muslim world and the industrial world should be a unanimous goal of all Muslim countries and all Muslim communities and stakeholders, including the private sector, the social sector, the NGOs, and so forth. With this note, I thank you very much, and I look forward to being enriched again by your thoughts and comments, as well as your remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tayyip, for this wonderful speech and insightful information. It is very interesting to see the linkage between social finance and maqasid al-sharia, which is very crucial to the Islamic finance and Islamic economy industry. And with the movement towards ESG right now in the world, I think this aligns perfectly with the Islamic social concept, and we are expecting that it will play a big role in the coming decade. With that being said, I would like to invite our last speaker, Mr. Garrett, the IF specialist from the United Nations Development Program. He will be presenting the approach in mobilizing Islamic finance for the ESG, and with presenting few case studies, linking it to our last session. So, Mr. Garrett, I would like to invite you, and this is the last discussion point. So we're looking forward to hear from you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Saima. I'm lucky to be the last speaker, I guess. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon and selamat siang, Bapak dan Ibu. First of all, thank you very much to the organizer, the National Committee for Islamic Economy and Finance, KNEKS, iPORTAL and Refinitiv for the opportunity. I'd like to also commend especially to KNKS for its ongoing leadership in expanding Islamic finance literacy in Indonesia, in the country. It's such an honor for me to represent the United Nations Development Program to share our experience in engaging with Islamic finance, in particular when it comes to the Sustainable Development Goals, which I think also correlated to what Dr. Sultan Amir has presented earlier, as well as the video about Maxi and Maxi. Next slide, please. Yeah, the discussion about SDGs has always led to the financing gap issue amounting to at least 2.5 trillion USD per year. And the figure is probably higher in 2020 due to the pandemic with a serious setback for the SDGs. And this is the reason why everyone in the world is searching for a new alternative or innovative finance, where Islamic finance, what we think, is one of the strong candidates to fill the gap. It's not just simply because of the huge asset that Islamic finance has possessed at the global level or its rapid growth. But echoing colleague from the UN, Mr. Tayyip, it's also because of the commonalities between Maqasid al-Sharia, the objective of Islam, and the SDGs itself. And to respond to this issue, in Indonesia, UNDP has established Innovative Financing Lab, which involves Islamic finance as a significant element. And we have been helping in designing, creating and testing new innovative financing instrument, which also covers social finance, climate, green, etc., and stealing the spirit of collaboration from Pak Jamil from KNEKS in COLAX initiative. All of these elements are working interrelatedly and collaboratively. However, it's not only happening in Indonesia, because the engagement with Islamic finance is basically part of a global strategy, meaning that it's also being explored as well in many UNDP country offices, such as, of course, Malaysia, the Philippines, Cambodia, Bangladesh, even in Palestine, Uzbekistan, Mauritania, and many more. So almost in every continent, we try to put Islamic finance initiative in the field, which includes three main emerging strategies. They are harnessing, meaning that we receive grants from Islamic finance stakeholders to implement projects, SDG-related projects, and then catalyzing or assisting Islamic finance stakeholders to align their activities with the SDGs. And the last one is a convening or connecting stakeholders to join Islamic finance and SDGs movement. So this part is basically telling us about the context settings of Islamic finance within UNDP and in relation to the global goals. Next slide, please. Thank you. Now, I'd like to present one of the case studies, which is leveraging zakat for SDGs. The story started by the signing of agreements with Basnas, the Indonesian National Zakat Authority, and the Regional Development Bank of Jambi, or Bank Jambi. So Basnas and Bank Jambi contributed zakat funds and CSR funds respectively to the implementation of micro hydropower plant project in Jambi province of Sumatra, Indonesia. And we blend all these financial resources with Global Environment Facility to support renewable energy initiative in Indonesia. And we believe that this is the first time in the world a zakat organization has formally committed to support the SDGs. And thankfully, alhamdulillah, as per today, 5 installations have been in operation, and the community in the project sites are now enjoying water access to electricity, be it for school, for household, for healthcare, businesses, enterprises, even for tourism. And the successful of the achievement together with Basnas have pushed UNDP at the corporate level to formalize a more strategic partnership with the World Zakat Forum, with the hope that the leveraging Zakat for SDGs initiative will also be replicated and happening, inshallah, in other member countries of the forum and also in other UNDP country offices. And the partnership with Batnas itself is continued to a broader synergy in disaster-affected areas in West Nusa Tenggara and Central Sulawesi. So we have been moving from renewable energy to disaster recovery. So we're trying to expand the multiplier effect of the electricity into a more comprehensive local economic development in Jambi. But for West Nusa Tenggara and Central Sulawesi, we try to provide more assistance to develop a more resilient economy. And for the second partnership with Basnas, new partners have joined forces already. They are Principal Asset Management, an asset management company with its Islamic philanthropy fund, as you can see in the slide. The company enables investors to buy a Sharia compliant mutual fund product, and they are free to donate either only the return of the investment or both the return and the principal, and the donation will be channeled to SDG related projects managed by UNDP together with Basnas and with Principal Indonesia. And the other partner is Amanah Fintech Sharia that will be providing accessible funds for SMEs using Waqf, Sedekah, or microfinance to scale up SMEs through a Sharia fintech platform. So basically, this is the idea of harnessing approach, what we have been undertaking. And the next slides, please. I would like also to take this opportunity to remind everyone here about the climate change, because last week we commemorated the 5th anniversary of Paris Agreement, and Indonesia is prone to be one of the most prone country to climate change impact. Not just that there is a rising temperature during the past 40 years, but also there happened in an increasing risk for natural disasters and human diseases. And in response to that, UNDP since 2014 has been actively assisting the Ministry of Finance in conducting climate budget taking. And I see that colleagues from Ministry of Finance and Fiscal Policy Agency are also attending this seminar. So we together trying to initiate new financial instruments to combat the climate change issues. Unfortunately, again, financing gap comes as an essential issue in this case. And with other partners, we supported the creation of Indonesia Green Bonds and Green Suku framework comprising the use of proceeds, project evaluation and selection, management of proceeds, and reporting, absolutely, because reporting is the one that distinguishes green suku from the regular suku. And currently we are exploring the possibility to develop blue economy and blue financial instrument framework, which will be probably featuring the blue suku, inshallah. And all these efforts resulted in 3 consecutive years of green suku issuance by the government of Indonesia, with the total amount of 2.75 billion USD for sovereign green suku and nearly 500 million USD for the retail green suku. And the question that people keep asking is that where the proceeds go. The proceeds help in the realization of eligible green projects, such as double track railways, solar panel construction, and waste management, which at the same time also reducing the carbon footprint. So in every issuance, every year, UNDP has also assisting in the preparation of impact reporting so that we can see the real impact of carbon emission reduction from the proceeds. Next slide. This is the last slide. Last but not the least, we recently launched a new program with Islamic Solidarity Fund for Development and Islamic Development Bank to support NGOs in 57 OIC member countries that engage in poverty alleviation, education, peace building, and other 2030 agendas, including response to COVID-19. And I humbly say that Indonesia was selected to be among the 7 pilot countries and the first in Asia Pacific to run this program. The main idea behind this program is actually we try to connect those NGOs in 57 OIC member countries and channel the innovative finance initiative and technology to them. For instance, Islamic finance, crowdfunding, crowd investing and a blockchain through an aggregated platform called Tadamon, which means solidarity in Arabic. I think that's all from my end, from UNDP. I'll stop here and thank you very much. Back to you, Ms. Saima.
Thank you for this great presentation, and I agree with you. The green sukuk are getting more popular now as we go forward with linking ESG, and I think it's a great step to link zakah to ESG parameters and also TSG goals, and hopefully that will lead to the growth of the industry. Unfortunately, due to the limitation of the time, I think we will skip the Q&A session. However, if you have any questions, you can reach out to the organizers of this event in order to answer your queries. With that, I would like to thank our valued speakers for their contribution and for sharing their insightful point of views. And I will give it back to the MC Azqa. The floor is yours. Thank you all.
Well, thank you very much, Shaima, and all distinguished speakers for the very delightful discussion regarding the literacy and education in Islamic economy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, finally we arrive to the final agenda of today's webinar. We're really sorry that we don't open the Q&A session due to the limited time. On behalf of the committee, we thank all distinguished speakers, moderators, as well as all participants for joining and participating in this webinar. Hopefully, this international webinar will enlighten us regarding the digitalization that can be the engine of Islamic economic development in new normal era. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me inform you that right after this event, KNEKS will have a press conference on about Islamic Financial Development Index, or IFD 2020. And you can watch the live stream from KNEKS YouTube channel. Whereas we know before that Indonesia is successfully placed in the second rank in IFD 2020. Well, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished speakers, guests, and participants, let us take, before we close this webinar, let us take picture for this whole session, to become our memory actually. So please, everyone, you can open up your camera, and the committee will help me to capture this respective speakers, moderators. You can open up the camera. Okay. There are still some people haven't opened the camera, but it's okay.
I will lead this photo session.
Okay, thank you.
In 3, 2, 1, smile. Once again. 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you, Ayas. Thank you, everyone. I see beautiful and some faces. I hope you enjoy the webinar today. And on behalf of the committee, once more, thank you for joining this international webinar. Our apology for any inconvenience, and we will be very delightful, very excited to see you again in the next events of KNEKS. Thank you for your kind attention, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Citra, and all the organizers.
All speakers.
Thank you, Gus Disa, Mustafa, Mr. Toyib, and then also Brother Gregat, and also Brother Khawaja. And,
thank you, everyone.
Bang Jamil, Shaima, Bang Usman.
Thank you.
And Sister Farida.
Waalaikumsalam.
Prof Haryadi, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you. Barakallah.
Allah barik fikum.
Amin.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Pak Greget, terima kasih.
Pak Haryadi.
Pak Lokot, Saima, thank you Saima, Pak Mustafa.
Assalamualaikum.
Senang berjumpa kembali Pak Haryadi.
Pak Greget, see you again.
Terima kasih teman-teman KNEKS. Mohon izin pamit. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Mas Greget.